When I shared that I was pregnant, Mom laughed. Your sister just closed on her new house. That's the only good news today. Dad smirked. Great, now we have two burdens. I just stood up and walked away. My next move changes their lives forever. I didn't say anything back. I just grabbed my coat off the chair and walked out the front door. Mark was already in the car, engine running, like he'd known before I did that we weren't staying for dessert. He took one look at my face and didn't ask a single question. He just drove. What my parents didn't know, what they'd never bothered to ask about in 6 years, was that I was the reason their comfortable life existed at all. Every spring for 6 years, I paid my parents' property taxes, quietly, out of my own savings, so they wouldn't lose the house they'd owned since before I was born. When their utility bills piled up 2 winters ago, I set up automatic transfers from my account to cover the difference so the power didn't get shut off. And when my sister needed a cosigner for her business loan because her credit wasn't strong enough on its own, I signed. My name, my credit history, my liquidity backing every dollar of it. None of that made me anything other than the quiet one at family dinners. My sister got the toasts, I got the tab. It had been that way as long as I could remember. Growing up, my sister's report cards went on the fridge. Mine got a nod at that. When she got her first job, my parents threw a dinner at the steakhouse downtown. When I got promoted to senior auditor, my mom asked if that meant I'd finally get a real office job. I used to think if I just did enough, quietly enough, for long enough, something would shift. It never did. Helping with the taxes wasn't remarkable. It was expected. Covering the utilities wasn't generous. It was just what I did. The day my sister needed the cosigner, she didn't ask me to think it over. She just told me where to sign and what time the appointment was, like scheduling a haircut. I went, because that's what I did. She got a handshake and a congratulations. I got a form to initial in triplicate. Mark noticed it before I let myself. He used to ask gently why I never told my parents no. I never had a good answer beyond maybe this time it'll be different. I think some part of me always knew that the day I finally said no, everything I'd built with them would come apart. I just didn't expect that day to be the same day I told them I was pregnant. 2 weeks passed without a word from either of my parents. No apology, no check-in, nothing about the baby. Then my mom called on a Tuesday morning like nothing had happened. Waverly, she said, skipping hello. Your sister's housewarming is in 3 weeks. Go to caterers we used last time and handle the deposit today. She's swamped with closing paperwork. Mom, I'm not organizing or paying for Vanessa's party, I said, keeping my voice level. Like I told you 2 weeks ago, Mark and I are focused on our own family now. She scoffed. Don't start with the drama again. The least you could do is support your sister instead of ruining things. A text came in from my dad before I could respond. If you're going to be bitter about helping your sister, don't expect to be included in the family legacy. Know your place. I read it twice. Something settled in me, cold and completely clear. That Saturday, they called a family meeting to get me to apologize. My sister sat at the head of the table like she'd been called in to preside over my sentencing. You need to apologize to your sister, my mom said, arms crossed before I'd even sat down. Vanessa didn't look up from her phone. I get that it's hard watching me close on a second property while you're barely affording a kid, but you need to stop being jealous. My dad added, another mouth to feed on a bookkeeper's salary. You should be learning from your sister, not fighting her. I didn't argue with any of it. I just set a folder down on the table and opened it. Vanessa, congratulations on the new property, I said. But as the guarantor on that loan, I filed a revocation this morning due to non-disclosure of liabilities. Without my credit backing it, the bank froze your closing as of 9 a.m. Her face went white. What? You can't do that. I can. I did. I turned to my parents. And since I'm apparently a burden, I've removed myself from the property deed. That ends the tax relief you've had for 6 years, effective today. Your automatic transfers are canceled too. Nobody said a word. My dad's mouth was open with nothing coming out of it. Then it broke loose at once. You're destroying your own family, my mom said, voice cracking. We were joking, my dad said.